What's next?
Oh, well, everybody know who I want next. I want Terrence Crawford next.
Yordenis Ugas says he's had to block a bunch of fans for disrespect. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I have blocked many people these days. If you're a fan and you tell me, Ugas, I'm over you, you're not on that level, I'll just say, okay, thanks. But if you come and make fun of me and discredit me and make me understand that you hate me, then I'll just block you and save you stress to read me. So I think he's saying to save the stress, so he's not playing no games. Now, it's sad that in the world of boxing, this is what it's come to. Yordenis Ugas, he's a terrific fighter, but he is being disrespected here. He's being disrespected because he lost a fight. And boxing has these cycles where people, I get that you're a fan of boxing. I get that people pick sides. I understand that, even though that's not who I am as a person, to overly be invested in some of those things and overly emotional. So I get that just from an outsider looking in, but the level of disrespect that we're seeing for Ugas is crazy, and it's like contrived. And I think a lot of it comes from just the fan bases of other fans. Some Canelo fans I've seen for whatever reason, and they're dissing Ugas, right? Maybe because Errol Spence looks lit and Canelo got a fight in 10 days and not everyone's talking about it with Bivol. I've seen, of course, the Crawford fight fans, the man fans who are heavily invested into Terrence Crawford, attack Ugas and basically suggest he's no good, he's a bum, he can't fight. And it's crazy, especially coming from Crawford fans, because Ugas arguably beat Sean Porter. I don't really even think it's arguably. The only reason I have to say arguably is because the judges didn't score it for him. But Errol Spence, he beat the man that beat the man, and then he beat the man. So he beat Sean Porter, who I thought lost to Ugas, but then he came back and beat Ugas, who I think beat Sean Porter. So either way, it doesn't matter because Errol Spence went through both of them on PBC and he beat both of them. So even though I think Ugas beat Sean Porter, they gave him the win, said he won, and the judges scored it for him, fine. Sean Porter, he ended up fighting his very next fight against Errol Spence at the Staples Center, and he got dropped and lost to Errol Spence. In 2019, I was there. So later on, Ugas, he just bounced back from the quote-unquote Porter loss, which, again, I don't think he lost, but he bounced back by continuing to fight guys like Omar Figueroa and the Ramoses and whoever else he fought. But most importantly, he was supposed to fight Maidana's brother, and then that got turned into Manny Pacquiao, the legend from the Philippines, and General Santos, when Errol Spence had an eye injury that forced him to withdraw from the Pacquiao fight. So that being said, Ugas had the best win of his whole entire career, the best name on his career, right, at that point, in Manny Pacquiao, and he dominated Pacquiao. So any way you slice it, Crawford's last two opponents were guys that Errol Spence beat 2 and 3 years before Crawford. In 2017, in Kell Brook's backyard, when he was undefeated at welterweight, Errol Spence beat Kell Brook. Ugas just got beat by Errol Spence, and I thought Ugas beat Sean Porter, as I said throughout this video, and Errol Spence already beat both of them. He beat Sean Porter in 2019, and Crawford just beat him in November of 2021. So Crawford, in that argument, he's still trailing behind. Now, I get it doesn't mean that Errol Spence, if Crawford, it doesn't determine the outcome of that undisputed fight. But to see Crawford fans almost denigrating Ugas and, talking trash about Ugas, it's crazy to me, because Crawford is a great, brilliant fighter. I've always said that on my channel. I'll continue to maintain that. But the way he was promoted, the way he was moving, the way he got moved, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't match up well with Errol Spence. And you could argue, Errol Spence, he had all the opportunities because all the guys are on PBC. Well, tough titty. That's the situation he was in. and Crawford was in the situation that he put himself in. So we knew these things. We knew PBC had all the top welterweights outside of Crawford, right? So if Crawford elected to stay in a situation where they couldn't provide him, that's why his career at welterweight has looked like it's looked. You know what I mean? That's not Ugas's fault. It's not Errol Spence's fault. It's not Boxing Ego's fault, right? This is the situation Crawford stayed in. And I told you that this would be problems years ago, many moons ago, and people, they act like they didn't feel me. But now you have no choice but to feel me. Ego Stradamus strikes again. In the last 30 days, I looked at my YouTube analytics and it showed me 50% of you that watch my videos subscribed. The other 50% did not. Make sure you guys subscribe. As a full-time content creator trying to provide you guys the latest and greatest, the best in boxing content. This really helps the channel when you guys show engagement, share the video, conversate with the video, let me know what I'm doing well, constructive criticism, but also very important to subscribe. So I don't have any big corporation or a company that is backing the channel. So I rely on you guys to help further the channel and help spread the good gospel in the sport of boxing with your participation. And that costs you nothing. Worst case scenario, you can always unsubscribe. But it's a shame, like I was saying, that your Dennis Ugas is receiving any type of criticism. I seen there's a interaction between Andre Ward and Ugas, which was lovely to see. And Andre Ward, a decorated guy in boxing, boxer, gold medalist, who retired undefeated, and he seems cool with Crawford, seems cool with Errol Spence, Shakur, all the greatness. He says respect. He told Yordenis Ugas respect. And I think everybody in boxing should be showing Ugas respect. It's no shame losing a fight. He looked like he was prepared. He landed some nice shots in singles. It just so happens that Errol Spence, he's a different animal, and he was a man on fire. He was determined, and he wasn't going to lose in front of his hometown crowd. There's no shame in that, right? Ugas, he got off some good shots. It just didn't, he got outworked, and his eyes started to break away and things of that nature, and he couldn't keep up with the sheer brute force and the volume of the aggressive big fish Errol Spence Jr. But for me as a boxing head and a boxing connoisseur, to see people try to dog Ugas is wrong. He's already probably feeling like ish based on losing the fight, losing his belt, losing in that fashion. His eyes all messed up. He said his eye bled for 40 hours. And you got SHITTY boxing fans, and they add insult to injury with no remorse and don't humanize these fighters. And then they're trolling him. And I can understand certain situations, like let's say Broner Maidana. When Broner carries a certain bravado or persona, or Teofimo, he was talking, he said he's going to knock Kambosos out in one round. But Ugas doesn't deserve that, because he doesn't even stunt. He ain't flexing, and he didn't show this type of bravado and or disrespect or say anything crazy to Errol Spence Jr. or anyone else or any one of his opponents. And he stayed the course. So I'm rooting for Ugas. I definitely want to see him come back. Great fights with him. I think Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman at the top of that list that I personally would love to see Ugas fight. But people are treating Ugas wrong. And it's just a way to get at Errol Spence and hate on him. And it's just unnecessary if you're a true boxing fan. So y'all got to chill. Let me know how I did in this video. If you liked it, subscribe. And that allows me to do more for you guys on the channel. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing off. Access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm Rick." The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.